They're full on board, and they have classified this bill as revenue neutral and a boon to the economy of this state. You either hear us this September or you fear us in November. We do not want this day to be about the thugs that tried to take over the Capitol. That's not what we are. That's not who we are. This is about an issue, and we're going to give this issue and this movement the dignity that it deserves. But you deserve the respect that you have demonstrated as we have moved this forward. Many of you have come to stand for a principle, and the principle is a simple one, but it's a beautiful concept. That the reason we entered into society in the first place was for the mutual protection of property.
I commend you for your efforts, and I urge you to continue this fight. We must eliminate this burden and this tax on our seniors, our families, and our children. And now we're here on the cusp of history, this history that we're writing today. But we need to be patriots with our words and deeds. Let us forego the egos and bring life-changing property tax elimination to the people of Pennsylvania by working together. I urge my fellow legislators to not just dip your toes into this issue, but to put yourself completely immersed in the good of the people. We're trying to protect our homes. It's time to rid Pennsylvania of the burden of this property tax.
I'm here for one reason, to tell you that I am so very proud of all of you who are involved and who have become dedicated activists in the fight to guarantee that this tax will never again have the power to leave anyone homeless. You have worked tirelessly to educate yourselves on this issue so you can be champions for property tax independence and spread the word to others. You've given freely of your time and your treasure to make a better life for all Pennsylvanians. All of you are true patriots. And I know without a doubt that our forefathers would, like me, be proud of you. Give yourselves a round of applause because you deserve it. And since you're giving applause, we need to recognize the lawmakers who are fighting beside us to achieve our common goal. The representatives and senators here today embrace the cause in which we so ardently believe and are fighting shoulder to shoulder with us, sometimes at considerable political risk, to do what is right for Pennsylvanians. They, like you, are heroes in the struggle for property tax independence and deserve our praise and our gratitude. Let's hear it for all of them as well. Again, everyone, thank you for joining us today. Keep going. Keep our ranks growing. Stay strong and never, ever give up.
These rallies are always tough to speak at, and as I was roaming the halls of the House this morning, you can almost get the sense, on some level, that common sense is dead in the halls of the chambers behind me. And while the rumors of common sense's death are out there, I'm here to tell you, they're not true. Common sense stands right here in front of me. Common sense is what it takes for people like you to balance your budgets, for people like you to understand that you can't spend more than you make, that you can't continue to tax taxpayers that don't have any more left to give. Common sense is right here on the steps of the Capitol, and our job today is to get it through the doors of the Capitol and then into each of the chambers. I can't do it without you. The people behind me can't do it without you. I'm done talking, and now it's time to hear from some of the others that have long wanted to talk about this issue. I appreciate you coming out today. Please don't forget why you're here. You're here to bring additional co-sponsors onto House Bill 76, additional co-sponsors onto Senate Bill 76. Through your passion, your reason, and your rationale, they can see that this bill is something that doesn't need to be sidelined any further. It needs to be moved out of the Finance Committee in the House and the Senate and to the floor. Thank you.
Thank you, because we have an extreme need to change our system and the way we fund our schools. The fact of the matter is there are many areas of our state that have unsustainable school property tax rates that are destroying our communities and our way of life. Changing to a system that does not base your school tax on the real estate value of your home would infuse dollars into the economy, encourage home improvements, and stabilize our family environment and local communities. And as David said, you all know that already. So I'm just repeating something that you already know. However, as we discuss the funding directly involved to education, let's not ignore a very important factor. I believe an important piece to remember is the stability of the home environment and the role that that plays on our children, their concentration, their education, and ultimately their overall well-being and their family life. Teachers will tell you that parental involvement and the home play a crucial role in child development. We cannot forget that by causing severe taxation on a family to own their home can cause both stress and emotional turmoil in a house, tearing apart the family unit as taxation becomes unsustainable and unfair. Even rents become unsustainable and unreasonable as the taxation is passed on from the landlords to the renters. The American dream of owning your home is being destroyed. As one of the highest areas of foreclosures in the state, in Monroe County, our current system dictates that you never really own your home. The government owns it. I don't believe that $8,000 to $20,000 a year in school taxes is a reasonable taxation at all. For these reasons, I strongly support moving House Bill 76 along in the process and changing how we fund our schools. I thank you all for being here today and showing my colleagues in the House and in the Senate the importance of this issue, not only in my district, but across the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. So thank you all. God bless you all, and safe travels.
You don't know how good it feels to stand over there and watch this today. There's just so much energy and so much, I think, devotion to a truly worthy cause. Senator Baker is covering for me at another meeting inside my neighbor to the north, and we were talking about the fact that, you know, if this legislative session was a basketball game, we'd be at about the beginning of the second quarter. And we've put up some serious points on the board with all of your help. More than 90 co-sponsors in the House, when last year we only had 60. 23 senators, when last year we only had 13. We got another one today, all right. Somebody got us number 24. I can't wait to find out who. And that's what we need from all of you. We need 26 solid votes in the Senate. We need 102 votes in the House. And then we can all gather together and watch the governor turn this idea into a law. Think about this. The way that we fund our public schools today is based on an unfair model from the 1830s. How big is your house? When was it last reassessed? When was it last spot reassessed? Did you color your windows? I mean, that's nuts. And that's the way we fund our public schools. I suspect Senator Fulmer will give you the constitutional reasons on why the current system is nuts. I'm just going to give you the basics. Thank you so much for what you've done. As has been indicated earlier, don't give up yet. We have never been this close, but we still have a way to go. Thanks again for coming out.
We got to wake up right now. What do we want? That was not good enough. What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it? Listen, I'm going to be really short because so much was said and so much more needs to be said. And I'm just going to quote from our Declaration of Rights in our state constitution. And I'm going to read to you real quick. It says, all men are born equally free and independent and have certain inherent and indefeasible rights, among which are those of enjoying and defending life and liberty, of acquiring, possessing, protecting property and reputation, and pursuing their own happiness. How in the world can we protect and possess our property if we're only paying rent to our school districts? Because basically that's what we're doing. I had a new roof put on my home. I was going to send the bill to my school district because they're my landlord, but I don't think they would have taken it. My point is, I want to thank you all for being here, and I just want to give you one more word of encouragement. This has been such a bipartisan effort. We actually created the Purple Caucus, and Lisa actually, Senator Boscola actually got the memo and wore the colors today to represent the Purple Caucus. There was so much work that has been going on behind the scenes that you haven't seen, that I've never seen before in this Capitol. And I just want to thank all the legislators, both in the House and in Senate, for being here. I needed you to know that because, you know, it gets kind of depressing sometimes, doesn't it? When you go out and you want to have your voice heard. Well, we're hearing it, and we are real close. God bless to you all, and let's continue to fight, and thank you so much for being here.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm State Senator Judy Schwenk. I represent the 11th District of Pennsylvania, Berks County, the heart of Berks County, the home of property tax elimination, and the revolt, truly a revolt, and a groundswell of people who get it, that this is just not the right way to fund education. We realize education is important, but there's got to be a better way. We found the better way. Now we have to fight for it. You know what's unique about this? Look around you. You don't just see Republicans. You don't just see Democrats. We reflect you here in the legislature because we're all behind this. We all understand, those of us that have signed on, how important this is. And it's not just an issue for seniors, and it's not just an issue for young people. This is a burden that's hindering our economy overall. You know, like other legislators, I go home and I go back to my district and I meet with my constituents a lot. We have an awful lot of people who come in our office. It's not easy to sit across from a senior who comes in for their property tax rebate, and you know that check is not enough. That these are people that are making the decision as to whether they're going to fill their prescription drugs, get that done for their whatever illness they may have, or pay their property tax. That breaks my heart. I see young people like my children, who are struggling to buy a house, looking at the selling price of a house, and when you add the taxes on top of it, they just can't do it. They want to get established in a community. In fact, that's what builds our community. The American dream of owning your own home cannot be just taken away from us. We can't let that go. Can't let it go. And you've got to hold on to that. You've got to continue to do the work that you're doing, to talk to representatives, to talk to senators, talk to your neighbors, because a lot of you we've seen a lot of times, but we need to see some new faces too, and some people who have said, and I hear this too, and whenever I try to talk to somebody about it, Judy, we've been talking about this for 30 years. Well, this time it's different. This time it's different. We've gotten further than we ever have before. But we need your help to keep going, guys. Let's get it going. We need property tax relief, elimination, and we need it now. Onward.
Senator Brewster.
Jim Brewster, 45th District, Allegheny County, Westmoreland County. Anybody here from Allegheny County? Representative Combs here. Our good partner from Elizabeth Township. 3 years ago, I was the mayor of McKeesport, and I was minding my own business. And I did such a good job, they demoted me, made me a senator. And when I got here, I recognized that there are a number of failures that we make in this building, all of us. And I want to harken back to something that happened several years ago as an analogy. Representative Markosik wanted to go to Washington and toll I-80 to generate revenue. Now, just so you know, 80% of the traffic were out-of-staters. They would have paid their fair share to come through our state. The Fed said no. Now we have to wrestle with a transportation bill that we know we need in Pennsylvania. We don't know how we're going to get there. But we don't want to miss an opportunity with this bill. We know it's the right thing to do. And I want to give you just a brief perspective as mayor. Two perspectives. My mother called me. JB, can you come up and see me? She's 2 doors away. Now, she paid school taxes to educate me, my 3 daughters, and now my 6 grandchildren. I think that's a long time. So when she showed me her invoice for her school tax, I happened to notice her Social Security check next to it, $800. My father's pension, $600. So she's living on $1,400 a month, and she gets this tax. Now, when you're a son, you look into the sad, tired eyes of your mother and try to find a way to help her keep her dignity and keep her home. So when you do that, and you've all done it with somebody, you know what to do. And as mayor, when I got the phone call saying, Mayor, you went to school with my son. I can't afford to live in my home. I'm moving to Texas with my sister. Well, Mrs. Smith, can't your son help with the house? Oh, didn't you hear? He passed away, Mayor. Think about that. Husband gone, only child gone, living in the Mon Valley, the steel business is gone. She's still getting the same taxes, increased, by the way, that she paid 30, 40, 50 years before that. So when you see these examples, you'll know what to do. Now, I'll remind you of this. And that's a change today. I think we're the 5th largest state in the greatest country on the planet. We're smart enough to figure this out. And I want to thank Senator Argyle, Senator Fulmer, Senator Shank, and my colleagues in the House for taking on this initiative. But I want to close by saying this. One of the reasons I jumped on board was because we know the need. Senator Argyle has made it clear. This is a dollar-for-dollar program, so public schools will not be harmed by this. But what it will do, it will level the field. Everybody gets to pay, not just the people who own property. And that's what we're trying to accomplish. So God bless and thank you very much.
So happy to see you all here today, because I remember in 2002 when a lot of you might not have been in the legislature at the time, and that's a good thing, because I think that the amount of new members to this legislature has really kicked off this whole thing about eliminating property taxes. I go around and as senators, you speak everywhere, you talk to groups, senior groups, professional groups, and every single time I go somewhere to speak and then I let them ask questions. When are you finally going to do something about elimination of property taxes? Every single time. There is not a single issue in my district that I know of that is not speaked about and talked about so much. And then it's disappointing when you answer the question they ask, Lisa, really, when are we going to see the time come? And it breaks my heart, because I look in their faces and they don't believe me anymore. And believe it or not, we've got a game plan. We're going to target some of our senators that we know are open-minded and talk to them, but it's only going to happen with you. With you all out there, never giving up and constantly keeping up that fight. Let's just keep fighting for elimination of property taxes. I am so convinced it's going to happen. Thank you.
We've come here, as stated, from all walks of life, from all political persuasions. We have 114, now 115, legislators in all that are standing with us on this.
I would like to say something. You know, I'm a freshman, and going door to door, the biggest thing I heard from my seniors were, Mark, I'm out of savings. What am I going to do? I go to the next door. I'm out of savings, and I had to take out a line of credit to pay my school property taxes. I go to the next door. I'm out of savings. My line of credit is almost finished. I have about this year to pay my school property taxes, and then I'm out of money. This is something that is simply not fair. And I think one thing that we're missing here also is, we talk about making Pennsylvania a better business state.
Yes.
Well, this is something that would attract businesses to Pennsylvania. So I don't want people to forget about that as well. Thank you.
How's everybody doing? I'm excited to be here today, and I'm excited to support this legislation. For me, it's a moral imperative. There's only so many times you can have a senior citizen come into your office, literally in tears, talking about the fact that they paid off their mortgage, they've been in their home for 30, 40 years, and now facing the loss of their home due to a tax share of sale. How many times can that happen without doing something? And just as important as those seniors are also the children who need their schools funded. And when I talked to Representative Cox, I said one of the things that's important to me is that we get both things done. That we get our schools funded fully and that we get this property tax eliminated. And I thank him for working hard to bring that into being. And so I say to opponents of this bill that we can do in this great Commonwealth more than one thing at a time. We can eliminate property taxes and we can fund our schools. Thank you so much.
I want to thank all the legislators who are not yet sponsors, who gave time and gave ear to our people today, this citizen lobbying effort. And I also want to make special mention of that point. As citizen lobbyists, these people paid for their own bus seats. The literature that you see circulating was paid for out of their own pockets. This is not a PAC. This is citizens. And we've come together and we've lobbied. From around the state, we filled buses. Berks County Patriots filled a bus. Lebanon filled a bus. We had buses from Clasta and Lancaster. You've heard from Monroe and Pike. We've had buses coming in from around the state. Other people drove down here, and they did all this on their own. They did this on their dime. And I am so proud to stand in front of everyone here, to stand in front of the legislators, and to stand in front of these people who have worked so hard to bring this far. And I have one more thing to say, and our sponsoring legislators don't need to pay any attention to this whatsoever. It is September. And once again, we've come to Harrisburg. Last year, as we walked these halls, it was overheard that they're like cockroaches, no matter where you look. These property tax people are infesting the halls of Capitol. Well, we're back, and we brought friends. And we came here for a principle of true property ownership. We came here not so much to be talked at, but to do the talking. I'm hoping that you listened. But I do have this to say to those non-sponsors. You either hear us this September, or you fear us in November. This will be an election issue. We're tired of waiting, telling us that we've been trying to do this for 30 years and we haven't gotten anything accomplished isn't good enough. It's not for lack of will of the people, and certainly not with 114 representatives between the House and the Senate. It's not for lack of legislative support. It's not for lack of those reasons. We can get this done. We will get this done, or we will take this to the ballot box. Thank you, everyone.